Hey everybody, RAZORDAK here, and I'm actually here today to talk to you about an exciting new project for the SOCOM community. It's a game which is intended to be a SOCOM successor known as PEAK.53. Joining me here today, we have Philip and we have Maggie, also known as Four and Hoppy in the Discord. Phil is the co-lead developer and founder, and Maggie is the lead company administrator for Dirty Bird Games, which is the developer of PEAK.53. Thanks to both of you for joining me today. Please go ahead and introduce yourselves.
You want to go first, or you want to go first? I'm Four. Obviously, you guys know me. I'm the co-lead developer of PEAK.53, and I'm the founder of Dirty Bird Games. A little bit about myself. I've been in indie development for roughly 6 years. I was in IT and the beta testing for biotech companies for about 10 years. And just slowly migrated into the video game space. So thank you guys for tuning in.
I'm Maggie. I joined Dirty Bird Games recently and have a master's degree and experience in project management, which is why I kind of jumped in to help.
Well, that's exciting. It sounds like the community's in good hands. It's really exciting hearing about your indie background, Phil. That's really cool. Did either of you two play SOCOM? And if you did, do you have any like fond memories or experiences from your time playing?
So she's definitely gonna bow out of this this conversation, but yeah, I mean, I SOCOM was pretty much my first love. My dad had bought me SOCOM 2 for Christmas one year. This was before, when you had the network adapter, and you had that walkie-talkie thing that you would plug in that would connect to your wireless router. I mean, SOCOM was really my first love. And then pretty much I grew up playing. Like my cousin, it's actually, we can get into it if you want later, but like my cousin was actually a huge inspiration for PEAK.53.
Oh, really?
He before we started this project, I DM'd him on Instagram and I was like, "Hey man, we're making SOCOM again." And he was my cousin was the one person you wanted to have, to have your back on SOCOM. So like we grew up playing SOCOM through like Confrontation. So that was pretty much my childhood.
Well, that's awesome. The SOCOM community can definitely relate. Just a lot of great, fond memories. I feel you with the cousin who you want to have your back. My brothers played. That's how I got into it. I had a few cousins who played as well. Well, let's talk about why we're here. Let's talk about PEAK.53. What is PEAK.53? How would you describe it, and what is it to you?
So PEAK.53 is definitely inspired 100% by SOCOM 1 and SOCOM 2. It's been a big void. I feel like it's weird that no company or AAA company has even tried to touch it, to try and bring it back. And we, as a company and as a development team, we look back and we've had projects in the past, and then when this fell into our lap, we were like, dude, we should this has to get done. Like we have to take our stab at it. And so that was kind of like what we try to do. Like we try to use the old system of the 8v8, the close quarter combat, the tactical aspect of it, the communication, the one death type of feel, and then transport it onto like the technology today. Like Unreal Engine 5, man, is like, it does a lot of the optimization and the visuals for you. And so we thought we would try to capture the old style of that onto this new engine. So, me and the team have, the knowledge to do it. And so we decided, hey, let's just take a risk and let's just put ourselves out there and let's just try.
Love to hear it. My favorite part about what you said is how it's based off of SOCOM 1 and 2, easily my two most favorite SOCOMs.
Right.
I have a feeling that a large majority of the community, they're kind of split between like SOCOM 1 and 2 and like Confrontation, which from early viewing of this game, it kind of gives you a vibe of the early SOCOMs and Confrontation visually, and maybe the gameplay of it. I mean, of course we'll see how it ultimately plays out, but the fact that you said it's based off 1 and 2, that's what I want to hear. That's what I
Right.
want to hear.
Yeah. So
Um,
the footage that you or have surfaced so far that we, there's still a few aspects that we're missing. We still, if you've looked at the footage from recent, like today, we still haven't finished our crosshair system and our scoping system. So those things aren't tied in just yet with the visuals. But once we finish that, and you can see, we're gonna have like the old SOCOM yellow, and it's gonna bring it full circle once you guys see that actual gameplay.
that's awesome. That's exciting. A huge part of the SOCOM experience is the overlay and just the way the game looks, so that's good to hear. Um, So another question I'd have is what separates PEAK.53 from other games that have tried to be a SOCOM successor, such as H Hour or Task Force, games that the community is really well aware of, but also are well aware of their failings, I guess, is what I would say.
So to be honest, like I have been like because the Dirty Bird Games had been in development, another product for the last few years, and I physically have been removed from SOCOM for 10 plus since Confrontation almost. Like I went into it completely blindfolded. Like I had an objective, and we sat down with our team and we said, hey, these are the core, like I know personally what drew me into SOCOM back when I was in high school, and I said this is what turned me on and what was so addicting about the game. So I've never played the competitors. May I say the names of the other
Oh, I mean,
games?
Task Force and H Hour, and
Okay,
honestly,
okay.
good
I
for
don't
yeah,
know, but
yeah. I
so
mean, good for you for not
I
playing.
100% honest to God, I have never played them whatsoever.
I don't think we are aware and can speak to what makes us different because that exposure to us is unknown.
Right? Yeah.
We don't know.
No, like my goal when I brought this to the table with my team and they said, okay, let's do it. We had that was not even, I didn't even look. Like I said, okay, here's SOCOM 1 and here's SOCOM 2. Let's do our best to develop this game versus those. Those other games don't.
Honestly, until the Discord started to become more active, I don't think we were aware of what any of those are. So I don't think we can speak to what sets us apart from
Yeah.
those existing games.
I mean, we're building new technology with SOCOM 1 and 2, and those two are all that we're focused on.
I honestly would say that probably actually works well for you, only because if you're looking at SOCOM 1 and SOCOM 2 and you don't have any like outside exposure and you're not trying to draw from outside exposure, I think that's a beneficial thing,
Right. Yeah.
because part of the reason why SOCOM has kind of died off beyond like Confrontation, like SOCOM 4 notoriously not very popular. At a certain point, in my opinion, SOCOM started to like pull in from these other games, and it started to lose its core SOCOM values, which is what people loved. Like SOCOM 1 and 2, that is what most people think of when they think of SOCOM.
Right.
From there, it kind of faded out a little bit. Confrontation was a pretty good SOCOM because that developer Slant 6, I feel like they weren't very well accustomed to SOCOM or shooters. So Sony gave it to them, and this is all my opinion. I feel like Sony gave it to them, and they're like, "All right, we need to make SOCOM." While other SOCOMs, like SOCOM 4, it pulled too much from like Call of Duty. So I
Right.
feel like not having that outside exposure is going to be beneficial for you guys because
Yeah.
you're not corrupted, if you will. You know.
Right. Like, yeah, no, we had said like in even in all of our statements and our core features were like no vehicles, no like simple claymores, mines, HE grenades, regular grenades. Like that's it. Like we don't want tanks, and that's just not what that's so far from removed from the goal of SOCOM. You know what I mean? In my opinion, 1 and 2, the 8v8s, tactical teamwork is what we're trying to focus on.
Yeah. And that's good. That's a good thing because SOCOM at its core is exactly that. It's, 8v8, pretty simple gameplay overall, to be honest. Like not many bells and whistles, just a solid core
Hmm.
game.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
gameplay,
Like.
the gunfights and everything. SOCOM is actually a pretty basic game at its core.
Right.
What is your end goal with this game? What are your hopes for PEAK.53?
Um, I think the hopes are just to what first and foremost is have a strong community. You know, I I want to bring back. I want to stop the division. Between all these camps, and I want to bring SOCOM back. I want to bring back the gameplay. The long term is obviously we've had a lot of comments about, okay, it's not on console, then we're done, like it's a fail. But we have to start somewhere, right? So I think the PC port, once we get a successful PC port, then we can discuss going on console. I mean, my end goal obviously is to have PEAK.53 installed in every console and every PC in the country in the world. So but it's one step at a time.
Yeah, no, I mean I feel you. To get the game off the ground, you have to start with PC. It's developed on a PC.
Right.
It has more reach on PC, and then hopefully it does eventually make it to a console, to that
Right.
platform, so that you can
Well,
reach those people who never moved on to PC.
yeah, I mean, like we're gonna have full controller support, and that's another big issue. Is another conversation is like, right, like the PC console thing is weird, right? Like we don't have the backing and the funding to just jump into a you know a AAA type of beautiful marriage between PEAK.53 and console. You know what I mean? Like I wish that was a thing, but we have to start on PC, then hopefully grow the player base, and then hopefully try to expand our development team that can focus purely straight because on a console release, because there's a lot of work. I mean, like our inputs and our everything that we do is strictly for PC. Controller support and doing the inputs and stuff internally through Steam, um, and in Unreal Engine is easy to do. It's just getting to that next step of console. It's a really really large task, and we just don't have the man right now. We don't have the manpower to do that. I mean, ideally, we would love to do a console release, but and hopefully, if we're successful, that will happen.
Yeah, it makes me think a lot about H Hour. That was a game that was super hyped up. People had really high hopes for, and I at the time didn't have a PC. So when that game was like starting to become available to be played, it was only on PC, and I remember being so disappointed. But I still like watched. I was always on their website checking things out, and I think twice they actually were like there was like one day where they're like, oh, we're in talks with Sony to get it on PlayStation, and they're like, oh, they're so excited, they're like moving, they're moving forward, and then nothing, and like a year later they're like, yeah, we're talking to Sony about getting it on beta, and then never heard from again. So
Right.
that game clearly
Yeah.
died.
I
But
mean,
that was like 2014 or something. Like it's a different age now. I mean, it's 2023. I feel like a lot more people then you realize have moved on to PC. But even if they haven't, it's you got to start somewhere. I hope that the community will be open-minded enough and accepting enough to just understand that
For
from a
sure.
developer perspective, you got to start on PC. It's not,
Right.
it's not 2004 where a game gets created on a PC and never actually goes on PC. It just goes on PS2 or something.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's how it is anymore. But you would know that better than I would, being in the
Well,
developer game.
yeah. I mean, the gatekeeping is different, right? So, we kind of hold our own destiny, with staying on Steam, staying on the PC platform. Obviously, if those doors opened up for us, and we did get a call from from someone on console, and they said, hey, we have an opportunity to do this. Obviously, I mean, I would jump to the opportunity, but the community has to realize that, like, we're doing the best we can, like, with what we have, and like we're trying to listen to people and the feedback, and we're trying to develop the best game that we can possible.
Exactly, and that's what's gonna be important. Is like be rational, be understanding. Don't sit there and expect too much early in a game. Um, like that's gonna be really important for PEAK.53 to have a good start. Is for people to be understanding. Like, if the game comes out and it has a few hitches or bugs, or maybe a few maybe it's lacking some feature that they wanted, or whatever the case may be, it'll be important for them to understand that that the game development is fluid. And how open are you to feedback? It would
Very
be
open.
my very
Yeah,
open.
we're 110%. I mean, we we have it in our Discord channel. We have a discussions and a suggestions page. I someone had we released our initial trailer 2 weeks ago on our YouTube channel, and the comments were just like, oh, over the shoulder, over the shoulder, over the shoulder, and then we had a couple of people jump into my DMs like, hey, you gotta change that. Within a week, less than a week, we had completely changed over
Yeah.
the animation system for when you hold a weapon. It's centered. The ADS and the where we have the dot now, where the crosshair would be, is directly over center or above the head of the character within days. Well,
Yeah.
that's just from feedback, and so we take everyone's feedback and we implement everything that gets suggested that we think that would improve the game.
I think it's important to remember that our Discord grew exponentially and it became sort of a full-time job trying to keep up with it. And so we've, talked to some people, and some of our community is helping us monitor some of that, and they're compiling a lot of the suggestions in the comments. And I think I've said it on Discord, and I truly mean it, is we are open to all feedback, whether it's positive or negative. We just ask that, if it's negative, we're okay with that. We would just like for it to be a little bit more constructive, and instead of just telling us that they really hate something, like, tell us what it was, like what you want to be fixed, or what makes your suggestion better than what we've put out. And so really to be patient. And so instead of just assuming that we're, that this is it, this is the final say, this is kind of the exciting part, and why people want to be a part of the Discord, is to see maybe the improvements and the progression of the game and how it's coming out. And so, give us that feedback. You can DM either of us at any time. We'll respond to you, or any of our members that have maybe been helping us as admin. We really appreciate them, and they're really compiling and trying to get information out to the community as quick as possible. And we're in constant communication with all of them. And so if someone gets a message, one of us on the team is getting it, and we're giving the answer back as soon as we can, and it's ending up on the FAQ page. And we really, really welcome that, because ultimately, if you don't like the game, you're not going to play it. And that's what we want, is for a game that's enjoyed and to be played.
I like to hear that. And I believe you too, because I've actually seen myself how quickly you guys changed the bullet tracers.
No, it was instant, man.
Yeah.
Bro, we put up a poll. We said, hey, bullet tracers or no bullet tracers? And the community said no bullet
No.
tracers. Development, I said, hey guys, remove it. And within a day, it was changed. So we literally listened to every, like, I even though I may not comment or I may not be as communicative through the Discord, but like I read and listen to everything. And if Dak, if you don't mind, if I give a shout out, so we weirdly created this whole Discord rolling group called the Round Table, and I don't know what inspired me to do this, but I said let's create a round table, and so I actually plucked. So I had been watching. So our Discord channel is almost at 300 members in a week and a half. So I said, okay, let's pluck all the people that are really stand out to us, that seem like they're leaders, that they're responsible, that they're more of an adult and with a level head. And I said, let's make a round table with these people. So I reached out to all of them, and they've kind of been, because I have no idea about the history of the community. I don't have a single clue about the drama, all of those internal fights and stuff between all these things. And I said, guys, you're my round table people. You guys are the people. Like, yesterday we were dealing with a lot of stress with some third party drama, and I said, guys, do it, tell me what I need to do. And the round table, we call it, they're like, 4, don't say anything. And I didn't say anything all day.
We told them to focus on development.
And they handled it for me. So like I want to give a shout out to those guys. I don't want to name them specifically, but like they're kind of the chairman now of the Discord and the community that help us. Like we're a group now that handle community feedback, and these guys report back to me and said, hey, do this and do this. And I think that's what's really helped me through the development process, like through the looking through of things. So I think that's like they deserve a lot of respect for helping us and helping me guide through the community.
That's huge. It's funny you mentioned that, because I'll look at people's names in the Discord, and I saw Roundtable.
The Roundtable, yeah.
Like, I don't know what that is, but I saw it earlier today.
Yeah.
I think it's important to engage your community, which is obviously what it sounds like you're doing. So that's awesome to hear. We spoke earlier. You mentioned a campaign, not a story campaign. This is probably not going to have a single player, I imagine, right? This is online multiplayer only. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's what I figured. I was thinking about that the other day, and I'm like, I just feel like how difficult it probably really is just to make a campaign in general. But so no single player campaign, which I feel like most people expected, which is totally cool, because SOCOM's known for multiplayer. Let's be real.
Right.
The campaign's cool and it's fun, but it's known for multiplayer. But you were talking about a campaign for PEAK.53. You want to tell us about that campaign? What that is?
Are you talking about the crowdfunding campaign, or just like a?
I believe so. I believe that you said you have some period of time before it ends.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I thought you were talking about like a campaign, like a story, like a single player campaign for the game.
No,
versus, yeah, no. Our crowdfunding campaign. I mean, we launched. It was a 30-day campaign. I think we asked for 10,000, and that would be just to help development. Would help us because, like I said, we're all indie. None of us are getting paid. So it would just help kind of incentivize and even potentially probably help us hire even on contract maybe 1 or 2 developers for at least a month, to help us through the early stages and just try and get it out. So I think we have 10 days. She would know better.
Yeah, there's 10 days left. We definitely wanted to be a little modest when it came to the amount that we were asking for, because we didn't want it to seem like we were only asking for money. We do have the smallest amount to donate gets you a copy of the key and then a copy of Steam release once out, and we are just really hoping that those that have invested and get those testing keys will really be conducive to building a great game. And like I said, there's 10 days left. I think people have been really supportive. We've already got 40 backers. That's amazing. We didn't anticipate much, and that's why we were modest in the amount that we were asking for. It's not a lot of money. I know it's a lot in the big scheme of things or to one person, but a key for $30 and you get the game once released on Steam, we think that's reasonable. And you get access to early testing, you get to provide feedback and really just jump in from the ground floor and really help Floor and the other developers kind of really tailor the game to be the best that it can be. And so we thought that it would be okay to ask. We're not out there actively posting all the time, asking for money, because I think the game is going to be developed regardless of whether we collect on the crowdfunding or not. It's just would be helpful to help purchase some of those assets and some of those features that can really enhance your experience while you're playing the game. And then obviously the developers are, dedicating their time and skill and effort into building this game. And so a little bit of those things go a long way when it comes to a purchase here or there. And so we're just really grateful for those who have already supported.
Like I said, I mean, we're working with Patch Kit, and so Patch Kit is going to provide us with, like, obviously an infinite amount of keys, right? So that's going to be our game launcher for the testing period. So if you purchase the backer, once we're in the testing phase, which is, I mean, I want to say we're roughly about 2 weeks away. My developers are a little bit more ambitious, but I want to say about 2 weeks. So we're going to upload that on Patch Kit, and then we're going to hand out the actual game launcher download. So once you download it, you're going to get the application on your desktop. You're going to double click it. It's going to bring up our, the PEAK.53 launcher. You're going to say press play, download. And so everyone who gets a key is going to download. It's essentially like we have our own game outside of like a Steam or some thing. But once you download and play it, you're going to launch onto our main screen. There's going to be the lobbies and stuff like that. So that's what we're going to do until we're at the end of private testing. Once we're at private testing, obviously, we're going to submit our final application to Steam, our launch application, and then we'll be able to go live and release. But we don't know when that's going to be. But for right now, yeah, that's the backers are going to get that early launcher.
Okay. Do you have in mind when you're going to start doing the testing? Do you have any time frame?
I mean, like I said, we're closing in on roughly 2 weeks. I think right now we have a few core game features that we're finishing up today. Actually, like I said, I dropped that video on. So we finished our client side scoreboard, and so it's going to be. So I know that. Correct me. It's been so long, but what SOCOM game? You know how you finish a round and say you get 3 kills in that round, right? You can check your scores and it'll say you have 3 kills that round, but then the next round it would reset. So
oh my god, it's Confrontation.
I hate it.
I don't think they did it on purpose. I'm gonna be honest.
No,
I think that was a mistake
that.
by the developer. I can't fathom why the developer would reset, like, even just how many times you've died. It's like, yeah, you can reset my kills, but I'm not going to die more than once per round unless it's one, but I could rant about that.
Right. So actually, in PEAK.53, you'll actually have your cumulative score from, so there's going to be the traditional 11 rounds, whether it's demolition or suppression, and those rounds will accumulate. So if you have 20 kills, every single round, you're going to see everyone's score for that entire game. So that's a huge thing. Right. So we actually submitted an update. Like I said, today we had 4 random player clients that I just generated out of thin air, but it shows their name. They generated a random name, and then it had all their kill to death, and it just randomly selected how many kills, and you could see them go throughout the leaderboards on the screen. So that system is almost in place. We have to finish our scoping in our crosshair system, and then obviously like our main lobby system. So for joining games, and then it repeating itself. So we're roughly about 2 weeks away from that.
That's exciting. That's exciting, and I'm glad to hear that. I didn't even
It's
think
so
about that.
exciting, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even
Yeah.
think
So
about the scoreboard stuff, man. I didn't even think
yeah,
about
I
that.
mean, we're like I said, we've honed into SOCOM 1 and SOCOM 2, and that's like once we have the base of those things implemented, like you know, that's what we're focused on.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear that. Now we all know there are people who are critical of your project. We've already seen a few people kind of come out of the woodwork being critical of PEAK.53, even though there's really not much to criticize at this stage of the game.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to entertain that criticism. On one hand, it's good to hear, constructive criticism where it's like if people are constructive about it, you can do something about it. It's not just like nonsense. But it's good to take that criticism, and just to kind of like hear what they're saying. What would your response be to any person who is critical of your game, whether for valid or non-valid reasons, and how would you assure them that this isn't just the most recent in a long line of failed SOCOM successors?
Yeah, I think that we addressed maybe a little bit of that earlier. We weren't aware of the other games that were out there that were supposed to be SOCOM inspired. And so this is genuinely a love of a game and wanting to bring that feel back, that connection that um, that they used to feel when they played the game. I think that, unfortunately, in this day and age, there are people that are going to jump on real quick and they're going to try to voice their opinion early for whatever reason. We're not sure what that reason is, nor do I think that we're paying much attention to it. The goal is to put out a game that people love to play, and that works well. And so I think that that's going to be our main focus. People are going to have constructive criticism that truly helps the progress of the game, and we are so grateful for that, and we would welcome that feedback as much as possible. For the outsiders that aren't maybe connected and they're already voicing concerns, we understand that the community has a long history of being let down. Maybe we've learned that, and we don't have a part of that. We're newcomers, and we just want a chance to show our game, and we welcome any of that feedback, negative or positive, and we just hope that the negative maybe is more constructive rather than destructive. We're not sure necessarily why someone would want to maybe derail the progress or the support of something that isn't even fully created yet. And so we just ask for patience from our community that is relying on us to put out a game that is loved. We just ask for a little bit of patience. Just wait and then test the game and then give us your feedback, because we're looking forward to doing that with you as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I would just tell the community to like do your homework, man. Like, just look at our gameplay, like look at our communication between our Discord. I mean, I'm at my computer for 16, 17 hours a day. Like, I'm still, if someone joins our Discord at 4 in the morning and I'm just, hey, welcome, man, at 4 in the morning, I respond to basically every single comment. I ensure people, hey, man, I'm right here. Like, you can DM me. Like, my DMs are completely open. We don't shy from literally anything. As far as the criticism, as far as we recently in the last 12 hours or so, we got hit with some quote unquote asset buying. Um, I mean, we're a really small team. Like we're already doing, you know, myself, we're all doing 4 or 5x of what is expected of any developer. You have to think like Call of Duty has so much money, right? Like they can just buy, they can hire 10 people to do one specific thing. So we have to prioritize, okay, what's most important about Peak 53? What's the number one thing that people want to see in SOCOM? And it's the communication, it's the gameplay, it's the heart pounding, you know, exchanges. It's like, hey, this guy's on the left, he's flanking on the left. We want to do that. Like if we have an opportunity to, yes, the marketplace on Unreal Engine, you can buy whatever you want, right? So we have to figure out, okay, what can we, not exactly cut corners, but like what can we purchase? And the discussion was our maps, right? Like, okay, you guys purchased your maps, so therefore your entire game was purchased. And it's like, well, the work has to be done. I mean, how do you think guns work? How do you think all the round systems and the UI and the HUD and do you think bullet spread is just bought? Like the bullet damages, everything that makes a game, like that's not bought. Like you have to do that work. So if we can prioritize, okay, maps can be changed. Maps are just a static thing that the environment that players play in. Yes, we bought them originally from our Kickstarter. Obviously, I don't know if you want to get into the next discussion about who joined our team recently, but
Oh yeah,
you
go
guys.
ahead. I mean, you're on the if you're while you're on the
I'm,
topic
I'm
of
on the, I'm
maps,
on the
yeah.
so I'm on the soapbox, and I don't mean to be. I'm a very passionate person because I don't ever want to be discredited for my work. Like we work a lot. Like yesterday was Sunday, and I was working for 16 hours on Peak 53.
I think the important thing to remember is that assets are out there. People are developing maps for a reason, and that's for small groups to have the opportunity to build something that they're passionate about, to get it out there in the hopes of building a strong support system and a community behind them in order to progress. And so I think when we started our campaign and used that video, it was all very early stage. Some of that footage is taken from early stage. Even in the past maybe 5 days, the evolvement of gameplay has been exponential. And Four has been putting updates in the teasers section, and it's become apparent that it's not necessarily just an asset flip. It was, we bought an asset to help us produce a product, and we're working on it. It's tailored, it's not copied, it's not just static, it wasn't left there. It's been what is the word,
well, I mean,
adjusted to fit the needs of the game.
Yeah, I mean, so if obviously if you want to say that one of the sites of the discussions for the number one was purchasing the maps, right? We did, but things don't. Yes, we didn't spend 6 months creating a map, right? Like we don't have the resources at the moment, and we don't have the bandwidth. Like our focus and our priority is gameplay, gun mechanics, that PvP aspect. The maps will figure themselves out. And so even so, just because you implement a map into your level, you still have to still deal with like the textures and the collisions and everything that involves, like you still have to actually go in, tailor the lighting, tailor all of the shaders, and tailor everything that you want to make the game or the map kind of fluid for what we want to do. So even though we did purchase the maps at the beginning, we still have to work on those maps. They're not, it's just not a plug and play type of scenario.
That's understandable, and to be honest, I think that anybody who has never developed a game or been on that side of it probably can't truly appreciate the amount of time and effort I got to assume it takes to produce a game. So if you're able to reduce, like if it's buying a few maps and focusing on the gameplay, which in my opinion is going to be, at least at the beginning, the more important part is,
Right.
because if the game doesn't play well and people don't like how it plays, nobody's gonna care about the maps. But if they
Right.
like how it plays, then the map will be more than sufficient.
Right. And
And
that was our thought. It's like, yeah, you can invest $30,000-$40,000 on a few developers to do fully customized animations and environments and stuff. If the gameplay is trash, then you just wasted all your money on on environments for no reason. So the environments were literally, honestly, were the back burner of our of our ideas. Our thought was to let's hone in, let's nail the fundamental core mechanics of what made SOCOM, which is the teamwork, the one death, the engagement between the PvP, and the maps will fall into place. I don't know if you want to segue into
well, you have an announcement you wanted to make about the maps. Is that right?
it. So yeah, so okay, so last night, Poison Cobra. I don't know if you want to introduce Poison Cobra, but so I don't know if you heard about all of the drama and the feedback that we were getting from our maps and the purchasing of our maps. He just randomly came into Discord last night and he said, "Hey, I heard you guys need some maps." So I was like, "Cool, bro. I love you." So we messaged and he's like, "Hey, man, I'm gonna give you Crossroads, the Urban Wastelands, and 3 custom maps for PEAK.53. So can we do like a chant,
Yeah.
like a hoorah, yeah." And so
Hooray!
that just was like, okay. But I still think that we may or may not keep the maps that we have for. We'll probably keep the maps for the private testing,
Mhm.
and then once depending on the feedback of those, we'll probably overhaul the entire map system and let him develop all of the maps. And then we'll probably launch on Steam as in early access with all of the 3 custom maps, Crossroads and Urban Wasteland.
And that's exciting because
It's
Poison
so
Cobra,
exciting, man.
Poison
So no more
Cobra.
discussion about maps.
Yeah, no, I don't want to hear about maps again, man. Like, leave me
Yeah.
alone about the maps.
Yeah, that's exciting because anybody from the SOCOM community and the HR community should be familiar with Poison Cobra because he made a few of the maps for HR, and in my opinion, the best maps for HR. They look the most authentic and they look really pretty, so you're getting a person who knows what he's doing. So that's a really cool development to be able to bring him onto your team to make Crossroads, obviously
Yeah.
the most iconic SOCOM map
Right.
from the whole
Yeah.
series, and then Urban Wasteland, one of the most iconic maps from Confrontation. So you're kind of getting the best from the PS2 SOCOMs and the PS3 SOCOM.
Yeah, dude, I was just blown away. I was like, let's do it, man. Like, where do I sign? When he DM'd me, I said, dude, where do I sign? And so we initially goes, dude, sign me up. So he has, obviously he has his side that we need to sign, and obviously he has to sign what we have to sign, and we've already promoted him. He's on our Discord as a co-creator. So I know that he has some things that he's doing personally in the next few weeks. So he was just excited. He's like, I want to get into UE5, so we're gonna let him have at it at our project, and he's actually he's working directly inside of our project files. He's going to build them within our project, so we don't have to source it where he's going to we're going to download it onto he's literally building it within inside of our project.
Awesome. Well, that sounds really exciting. That sounds like really good news, and that should put some people's mind at ease if they had any of those map concerns, because
No, map shouldn't be a topic anymore.
Yeah, we've got that covered now.
Yeah.
So here we are. I feel like we've covered about everything we could really cover. I'm sure you could talk about this all day. Do you have any final thoughts or anything you want to put out there for any of the communities, whether it's the SOCOM communities or just people looking for the next fun third-person shooter, is there anything you feel is important for the community to know about?
Yeah, be patient. Please. And really understand that there's humans working on this project. It's not a major company with faceless people trying to shoot out games to make money. This is just truly a project that is very passionate and just really want to do a good job.
Yeah, and I just want to like ask the community to like give us a chance, man. Like we're not the enemy. Like we're here how we're trying to make a SOCOM inspired type tactical shooter.
Yeah.
Like we're in it from my heart. I personally want SOCOM back. I just want to play SOCOM.
So I think one thing that we can really ask our community is to be patient and stick with us and help us see it through. We really want to put out a quality product that is supported and engaging in the community. We really want a strong community to help us with this.
Yeah, and just our community to give us a chance. Just let our gameplay and let our communication and updates and progress kind of speak for itself. And like I said, do the homework for yourself. Come into our Discord, message me directly, talk to one of our many admins or our roundtable members, and just say, hey, what's going on? And we do daily updates in our Discord for gameplay, and we're just extremely transparent about the development and progress of PEAK.53.
I couldn't agree more. I think that the big takeaway for the community is to be patient, give the game a chance, because there's not exactly a lot of people just knocking down the door to give us another SOCOM Successor. So be patient. I'm going to add into the description of the video the links to the Discord for anybody who wants to join the Discord, and any other relevant links that you guys feel are important. I know you have a Twitter. Do you have any other social media or anything that you want to put out there?
We have an Instagram. We have a Twitch account as well. And we actually have a revamped website that's coming in. I don't know if I'm allowed to plug this, but so our hopes is to link our PEAK.53, the in-game stats, to like a global and leaderboard in stats directly to our website. So I can't really drop the website just yet because we have people working on it. But eventually we'll have that website that will link literally everything. But yeah, I think the best way to contact us and just to get involved is through our Discord channel.
Okay then. I will have all of those links in the description of the video. So if you want to join the Discord, if you want to follow the Twitter, the Instagram, the Twitch, whatever it is, you'll find them in the description of the video. And whenever that stat tracking website goes live, I'll try to get that in there too. I appreciate you two for joining me today. I'm excited for PEAK.53. I can't wait for the testing to begin so we can see more of this project. And I'm excited for what the future holds. But I really appreciate you guys taking your time and sitting down with me here today.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm sorry if we talked your ear off. We were a bit aggressive, but it's just such a passion for us, and we just want to make the best SOCOM inspired shooter that we can.
Hey, I can talk SOCOM all day, so don't you even worry about that. Once again, thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope I see you guys on PEAK.53, and G up.
G up, boy. Let's go.
Seals victorious.
Seals victorious.